This was, without question, one of the most shocking family tragedies in China in recent years. An entire family was wiped out on the spot, simply because they went out to eat Hotpot. What was even more shocking was that the restaurant was full of witnesses. Dozens of people watched it happen. Instead, they clapped and cheered, calling the killer a hero. And as if that wasn't enough, what stamped the country later was that the killer had another identity no one expected. Welcome to Dark Asia with Richard. If you enjoy true crime stories, please subscribe to my channel. Let's begin today's story. Chinese hotpot is famous worldwide. Whether you visit Chinatown abroad or travel to China, eating hotpot is almost mandatory. Family and friends sit around one table, eating and talking, sharing joy and life. It is one of the most common social rituals in Chinese culture. Now, let's go back to 2019. On an ordinary weekend evening in Chengdu, Sichuan province, China. A popular spicy hotpot restaurant is at its peak hour. Packed, chaotic, waiters running table to table. A young couple walks in with a boy, about 7 years old. His name, Le. At first, the staff greets them like any other customer, but the moment they sit down, something feels off. The boy grabs chopsticks and starts hammering on the bowl. Hard, a sharp, metallic, piercing sound filling the room. The kind of noise you only hear from a child who has been spoiled and never disciplined in public. In China, people have a name for this kind of child, a little emperor, not because he has power, but because everyone around him treats him like he does. No one corrects him, no one says no. He grows up believing rules are written for other people, not for him. And when a child is raised like royalty, the price is eventually paid by the society. The waiter steps forward to take the order, but before she finishes a sentence, Le snatches the menu and fires off 20 dish names like a machine gun. She rushed to write it all down and send it to the kitchen. Then the boy casually adds, "Cancel all of that, I don't want any of those. Everything I just said, don't want it."
毛肚、鸭肠、耗儿鱼、鸭菌，记好了吗？不要。午餐肉、豆皮、鸭血、老花、老肉片儿。
急了。
也不要。你。
That one lamp is like a burning gasoline on an open flame. The waitress has been pushed to the edge all night. Non-stop customers, non-stop orders, and just when she finally catches one breath, she gets humiliated and toyed with by a child. The waitress is furious, but she swallowed her anger in silence. She needs the job. Still, in her mind, she had made a judgment. This family is either abnormal or here to cause trouble. What she didn't know was that this abnormal family would soon drag not only this restaurant, but the entire street into a bloodbath. While waiting for the food, the family continued to show how unbearable they were. The parents kept yelling at the staff to hurry up with the dishes, while the child ran wildly around the crowded restaurant, almost crashing into people several times. At one point, a waiter was carrying a pot of boiling hot soup base to their table. The boy dashed past him and nearly collided with him. Fortunately, he reacted quickly, a second slower, and there could have been a serious accident. The waiter kindly reminded the parents to control their child, saying that the restaurant was full of steaming hot pots and any collision could cause severe burns. But instead of appreciation, his good intention was met with loud insults.
哪个才脸色哦？
因为我们兄长噻啊！
娃娃还小，
啥子服务态度？
这儿同啥子？
喊你们老板来。
我没说啥子的嘛。
老板，老板，老板。
The mother yelled. He's just a kid. What's wrong with running? I'm warning you, if anything happens to Lele in your restaurant, you all won't be able to afford consequences. The father joined in aggressively. Exactly, you call yourself waiters, you cannot even watch a kid. If anything goes wrong, I will smash your restaurant. Then he slapped the waiter across the face. The shouting immediately drew everyone's attention. The entire restaurant went silent in shock. The restaurant manager rushed over.
老板儿，
老板，那个，
不好意思，不好意思，不好意思。
To prevent the situation from escalating and affecting business, he repeatedly apologized to Lele's parents, explaining that the waiter was new and didn't understand the rules. But the parents kept pushing. In the end, the manager had no choice but to offer them a 15% off on their bill and a free plate of beef. Only then did Lele's parents finally calm down. And this was the moment that later made many netizens furious, because the restaurant had multiple chances to stop what would come next. They could have warned them, refused the service, or asked the family to leave. But instead, they apologized and offered a discount to keep the money flowing, essentially rewarding bad behavior just to avoid conflict. When adults refuse to draw a line, chaos never stops. It escalates. After this, Lele became even more arrogant. He felt that tormenting the waiters was no longer fun, so he targeted other customers. He leaned over to the next table and whistled loudly behind someone's chair. When the person ignored him, he suddenly ran behind a female customer and yanked her hair. Before she could react, he darted to another table. No one stopped him, which only made him bolder. The diners stared at him in disbelief. Some wanted to speak up until they saw the parents scrolling on their phones, not even looking up, casually saying, "Let him play, he's just a kid." By now, the restaurant had reached its limit. Some diners fired up, ate through gritted teeth with grim faces. Others quietly paid and left. No one comes to eat only to be bullied by the child and his parents. But to this little tyrant, the silence and the emptying tables weren't restraint. They were proof of fear. He felt untouchable. He scanned the room like a kid picking his next toy. His gaze landed on the table behind him. Two men. They ate in silence as if the chaos around them didn't exist. Lele's curiosity turned into mischief. Thinking they were just trying to look tough, he swaggered over, flicked a few vegetable leaves onto them, then, with a smirk, leaned over and spat into their bubbling red hot pot. The provocation shattered the two men squared. The buzzcut man sitting on the left darkened his face, stood up abruptly, and warned Lele's parents to control their child. Lele's father, however, said indifferently, "He's just playing. What's the big deal?" The man was about to explode, but his companion held his shoulder and said in a low voice, "Let it go. We're almost done. Wash your face. We will pay and leave." They stood and walked to the restroom. It looked like restraint, but it was a volcano held down. They didn't know those minutes away would become the real fuse, because while they were away, Lele circled back to the table and directly threw their phones into the boiling hot pot. A few minutes later, the two men returned. As soon as they sat down, they smelled a strong, burnt plastic odor. They looked down, their phones were submerged in the hot pot. No one told them what had happened, but they already knew who did it. After 2 seconds of silence, one man stood up, rushed toward Lele in one step, grabbed him by the back collar like a chick, and pressed his face straight into the boiling hot pot. Sss. Then the child let out a piercing scream. The entire place went silent in an instant. Only then did Lele's parents react. They screamed and rushed forward, cursing, "Are you insane? How dare you touch my son?" But as they closed in, two knives plugged into their chests without warning. The two men's movement was swift, clean, and without hesitation. In less than 10 seconds, the entire family of 3 collapsed beside the hot pot table, blood spreading across the floor. Everyone was stunned. Screams cut through the restaurant, but no one moved to stop it. Among the murmurs, someone quietly muttered, "Someone should have taught them a lesson long ago." The 2 men did not flee. They walked out the restaurant and headed straight to the police station to surrender. No one expected that these 2 men had actually been fugitives on the run for months, carrying multiple murder cases on their backs. They had grown tired of life on the run, and their original plan was to finish this last meal of their lives and then surrender. They didn't plan to kill anyone that night, but they met the worst possible family. One spoiled child ended up triggering the final limit of 2 murders. On their way to surrender, they took care of the entire family of 3 as a side job. When the case went public, the internet split in 2 directions. Some people were terrified of the 2 killers, arguing, yes, the child was wrong, but does he deserve death? The parents were awful, but can we accept the killing? Others called them heroes who rid the public of minors, saying things like they did what everyone else wanted to do. The hot pot restaurant that night was not just a crime scene. It was a collective emotional eruption of the society, a public projection of justice, parenting, indifference, and rage. At first, the story only circulated in small circles online. What turned it into nationwide debate was a film released in February 2024. The film almost fully reconstructed the incident, how a child escalated from pranks to provocation to cross everyone's boundary, pushing everyone's emotion to the edge until the bloodshed erupted. This kind of public misbehavior did not decline after the movie. It kept happening in real life. In recent years, spoiled kids causing chaos has become a high-frequency phrase in China. People increasingly feel the problem is not that the children got worse, it is that parents have disappeared. January 2025, a 7-year-old threw a lit firecracker into a septic tank. Methane gas instantly exploded. Fortunately, no one was injured, but unfortunately, the blast caused severe damage to multiple cars parked nearby, including Porsche, Lincoln, Lexus, and other luxury brands. After the incident, the boy and his parents were taken by the police, and the parents now face 5 million renminbi, nearly $800,000 in compensation. February 2025, Haidilao Hotpot, Shanghai. 2 underage boys entered a private room for Hotpot. Before they even finished a few bets, one boy stood on the table and urinated directly into the 4-grade Hotpot. The other laughed while recording and posted it with caption, "Too satisfying, territory marked." The case went to court. The parents of the 2 boys were ordered to pay $700,000 for the damage, brand loss, and legal costs. Chinese netizens summed it up in one sentence: 1 stream of pee from a spoiled child, 1 apartment gone for the parents. May 2025, a young woman was on a train when the child behind her kept kicking her seat. She stood up, stopped him. The mother slapped her. She slapped back. Police fined the girl 200 renminbi and fined the parents 500 renminbi. Both were ruled at fault. If the same thing happened in your country, would the parents actually face consequences, or would people just shrug and say, case will be case, and move on? Share your view in the comments. Your answer might reveal more about your society than the story itself. If you found today's case thought-provoking, hit subscribe, because more unbelievable true crime cases from the East are on the way. See you next time.